Hello, it's Monday morning, it's just after 7 o'clock, which means it's time for the Birmingham News Review. I'm here with you until 8 with a look back at the week just gone and a look forward to what's to come across Birmingham and the West Midlands. We'll kick off with our look back across the week at some of the things which have been making the news across our area. And I'll be seeing what's up on the community notice board too. Norma Bartlam will be here a little later with a special, very personal look at the subject of dementia. A little later on, Sam will be joining me for a look at what might be making the news in our area during the coming week, plus Des and Gary will take a look at what's on this week too. Norman will return to see what's so special about this month, and we'll be profiling another artist and their work. Owen will be choosing another letter in our A to Z of the West Midlands too. Looking forward to that. It's a busy hour ahead right here on the Birmingham News Review. So then let's see what's been making the news this week. Now, earlier this month, we ran a series of short features on Mental Health Awareness Week. Since then, lots of different schemes and support services have been sharing the great work they do to help. One sports project is having real success, supporting people with all aspects of their well-being, as Nick D found out.
It's long been known that physical exercise is good for both the body and for the mind. And in Hensford, a free tennis scheme has proven extremely popular with the local community.
Tennis for Free started in 2003 from comedian and author Tony Hawks and a fashion executive Patrick Holway. And they thought really that the sport with its grassroots really could be expanded. And public parks being a facility that's all over the country and just a piece of tarmac that doesn't really cost anything to use, they decided that Tennis for Free is a scheme that really can make a difference.
The scheme is open to all and has been particularly successful in aiding the recovery of people with mental health issues.
Doctors refer the people that are living with mental health issues to Chase Emotional Wellbeing. There's social services, Park House, job centre now. We get a lot of people referred from the job centre. So what I do is I give them a tour around the park and show them what the different things that we do. We've got a whole week of events, but Tennis for Free is a valuable part of our weekly free activities that we offer people to be involved in. And it's a supportive environment. It isn't just one thing. They're involved in as a family basis.
I had depression. I can't walk very far because of my arthritis. I've had 2 knee operations. I seen Lynn and she says, "What do I do?" I says, "I'm sitting in the house." And she says, "Come down, we won't force you to do anything." I came down and I've been down ever since.
Coach Chris Perrin spoke of the improvements in wellbeing seen amongst those partaking in the scheme.
We was aware of Tennis for Free and we as a charity, and we wanted to get involved, and now from this we've got over 1,000 people playing at this site, from people from the age of 4 to all the ages up to like 60, 70, all ages, all abilities, and also it's also working because we've got all parts of the community, so whoever's able to play, feel comfortable playing, and they come down and play. They just get a little bit of benefits of like socially, and also like feeling better about themselves, wanting to enjoy the tennis and just really having a good time.
And with regular sessions taking place, why not pop along and try it for yourself?
The family of a child who's had a difficult start in life are overwhelmed by the kindness of members of the community around them. Stephen Collins reports.
Tommy lost his legs when he contracted meningitis B. It almost claimed his life. Now members of the community are coming together to help raise money for prosthetic legs.
Well, I'm going to be working for Tommy Brown to help raise money so he can get his new legs. When I saw Tommy, I really wanted to help, and then I did do fundraising for him in the past, and then I wanted to help a bit more.
To be honest, it was a really inspirational story. I mean, Owen approached us, and the fact that he's 11 years old and does charity work sort of blew us away. And he was so persistent about it, we felt like we really wanted to get involved. And the fact that Tommy's legs, obviously it's quite expensive, £100,000. We don't think that the walk's going to give us all the money, but we want to be strong patrons for the actual charity itself, because we believe that anything we can do to raise money would be beneficial for him. So, like I said, we were inspired, we were touched by his story. He's so young as well, Tommy, and he's got such a great spirit about him. He's such a good little boy.
Tommy contracted meningococcal septicemia, meningitis B at 5 months old. He had a 5% chance of survival. Spent 3 months in hospital, but against the odds, Tommy fighted, but he then come out obviously unmaimed. He lost both his legs, one below the knee, one through the knee, his right arm below the elbow, and the fingers off his left hand.
How we come about is there's a little young lad who you'll be talking to, Owen, and Owen's been baking cakes, cookies, and selling them to friends and family. Just for that, he raised £140 for Tommy, and during this campaign, Owen's got to know Tommy quite well, and he asked me, is there anything else I can do? He said, I want to do more. Well, we wanted to do a really big walk, because a walk around the park, now we wanted to go big. I got talking to Richard, one of the managers at the Light Cinema, put my ideas across to him, and the Light Cinema wanted to get involved. So now the walk is going to be all the way from Wolverhampton to Walsall and finish at the Light Cinema. This walk's going to take about 2.5 to 3 hours.
Now, last week was National Volunteer Week, and in Kings Heath, one voluntary worker has been commended for her efforts at children's charity Barnardo's. Aaron Wiggins reports.
The cutting of the cake and the presentation of a bouquet of flowers often means a celebration, and on this occasion it was a big one at that. Yvonne Yates has worked at Barnardo's in Kings Heath for 20 years and was commemorated by the charity for her commitment and loyalty.
I think it's incredible to have done as much as I've done and helped to get as much money as I have for Barnardo's. Now and again you hear and see stories on television or in the papers about stuff that's happening to children, and you know it's bad, and anything that I can do and other people can do to help children, it's such an important time of their life. You know, their childhood is so important. So, you know, I think doing this, you know, is very beneficial to everybody.
Yvonne joined the charity as a volunteer in 1997 after spending the previous 29 years as a teacher. After retiring aged 50, she felt as though she wanted to give back, and on a day out shopping in Kings Heath, stumbled across Barnardo's, where she met the store manager, who recalls the memories.
First memories is of me desperately recruiting volunteers when I first took over the shop, and Yvonne was one of my first core members that I recruited, and I'd been here for about a year off. I think it's proved that, for one, she's got great loyalty to Barnardo's and the team that's here. She's never let us down, and I think it says a lot about the volunteering opportunity that Barnardo's can offer people and the fact of how much they can get from it.
This week marks National Volunteers Week, and the current store manager feels that more people can take heed from the likes of Yvonne.
She's a very loyal, one of the best members of the team. We can rely on her, phone her up, she'll come in, do extra hours. Yeah, we won't let her go. She'll be here forever.
In total, Yvonne has worked 10 years for absolutely nothing on 2 spells either side of being a sales assistant, and she says she has no intention of stopping anytime soon.
Now, Pelsall Library is set to close its doors on June the 30th, despite various attempts from campaigners to keep it open. The library, which is housed in the Pelsall Village Centre, only opened 5 years ago, and residents are angered by the decision, as Olivia Marks reports.
Almost 2,000 signatures for a petition to keep Pelsall Library open, but on the 30th of June, the library at Pelsall Village Centre will close its doors, much to the upset of locals.
A lot of us meet together around here, people know one another, and it'll be a major loss to the area. So, you know, we're really sad about it.
So I'm really upset because I love the activities and my mum takes me there and it's really fun. But when it's closing down it won't be very fun because I won't be able to go there anymore.
There's clubs there, you know, ladies' afternoons, knitting and crochet and that, and the children from the school, they're brought down to look around.
I think it's a real shame. It looks well used whenever I use it, and we've had a brand new building. It seems a complete waste of money that it's going to shut down.
Prince Edward opened the library just 5 years ago, and it's part of a £5 million community centre. But as Walsall Council hope to save £86 million by 2020, this marks the final chapter of the library.
It's a campaign that lasted years to open this facility. It was officially opened by Prince Edward and really hailed as being ahead of its time, which is a library in Walsall that has the highest footfall outside Central Library in Walsall, which has got one of the lowest cost bases as well. Just does not make sense.
Campaigners have described it as one of the most popular libraries in Walsall, but despite their protests, they didn't get the happily ever after they fought for. Olivia Marks, Birmingham News.
Time for a break now, but stay with us for a special, very personal report from Norman Bartlam coming up next. Hello and welcome back. Now recently it was Dementia Awareness Week, and you might remember that we featured a series with Norman Bartlam, who has a very personal connection to the condition.
Now, we all forget things from time to time, don't we? Keys, phones for instance. But what should we do if we suspect that someone's memory is becoming worse than normal? I took my dad, who's now 85, to see his doctor, and the chain of events reconstructed here shows there is little for anyone to worry about.
It's important to see your GP to rule out any reversible or treatable causes for memory difficulties. So, for example, the side effects of medication or certain medications themselves might cause memory difficulties. Being physically unwell or being low in mood also can cause memory difficulties. So it's important to get those ruled out.
Dad, just like thousands of others, was referred to the Memory Assessment Service by his doctor.
We want to work out whether there might be some changes to somebody's brain, okay, which might be causing their memory and thinking skill problems. The thing is, what's really important is that what we're trying to do is detect dementia much earlier, so that people can get treatments and interventions and live really well with these problems.
So what kind of things can you do today then?
Okay, so let me just tell you a little bit about what the memory assessment entails. So today what I'll do is ask you questions about your memory and thinking skill problems, okay?
I've discovered that the dedicated team look at clinical history, and paper and pencil activities help them to assess language, thinking skills and memory retention.
A spoon,
Lovely.
A teaspoon, a crown, crocodile, barrel.
Okay, now can you put the hands at 5:10 for me?
5:10?
Yeah. Can you name the current Prime Minister?
Memories of days gone by are often clearer than present day memories.
Can you name the woman that was Prime Minister?
Maggie Thatcher.
Fantastic.
The third piece of the jigsaw is a scan like this, which looks at the brain. Dad's results showed that he is one of 150,000 people in the UK who has developed vascular dementia.
For certain types of dementia, there may be medications available.
But somebody like vascular dementia, which Dad's got, there's no treatment as such, but there's certain care.
There are no specific medications licensed for vascular dementia, but people may need sort of day-to-day support to live well with the condition. It may be the person needs a referral via social services to a day centre.
Like at the Kenrick Centre, which is the one that Dad uses.
The centre is a day centre for older adults with dementia, learning disabilities, Alzheimer's, physical disability, mental health and loneliness. They participate in different activities. It could be tabletop games, bingo, dominoes, gentle exercise, nostalgia.
It seems to me that at this centre, Dad feels a sense of belonging and feels secure. And it gives him stimulation to the brain. It provides exercise as well, and it helps people to remain independent, and I think that's really important. And from my point of view, it also offers carers a respite service as well, a chance for them to get on with their own life in the knowledge that the person that they look after is in a secure, well-structured environment where staff have their best interests at heart. and it seems today at least to be an oasis of calm in what may often be a bewildering world. Now, I reckon it helps the NHS as well and other services because it enables people to remain independent and it doesn't use up valuable places in full-time residential care. Now, I can't praise it enough, and all the staff should be really proud of what they do. Dad's type of dementia has resulted not only in memory loss but in a general lack of activity. He's slowed down and he needs to be encouraged to do things, especially as the medical advice is to keep active.
It's important to follow a healthy lifestyle, and exercise is really good for you. I think what's good for the heart is good for the head.
Dad loved his garden, but now he's slowed down and needs to be cajoled into working in it. Once he's occupied though, he's back into the old swing of things. But then he forgets what he's done. He's planted various seeds, but he's got no idea what's what as he's got all the labels mixed up. And having spent ages digging and planting seeds, I then see him digging up what he'd planted 10 minutes earlier, as he'd forgotten he'd planted anything. Back in the house, pick up a newspaper, and that's the day, even if it's not. Crossing off the days on the calendar, and a clock like this helps. There's notes all over the house on brightly coloured sticky notes. You hope he remembers them when I'm out. Every time he picks up his bus pass, he needs to be reassured that it hasn't run out. The green one's the bank card, Dad, not the bus pass. Don't worry about the number, I know it. A card in the wallet from the Dementia Society is another source of reassurance. Details in there, so you can put your address in, you can put important phone numbers on. Always be prepared to answer the same question 3 or 4 times within as many minutes. Who says I'm not patient, eh? There's a huge tendency to recall the past, but anything that has changed in recent times, then, well, just forget it. Say we're off to Tesco's, he'll be confused. Say it's by the bus garage, and he'll be with you. He'll easily forget his granddaughter's wedding last year, even though there are hints all around the house. So there's you in your best suit.
Yes.
And Sarah. And her husband there.
I don't know what his name is.
A pile of rubbish mysteriously appears in the backyard. That's where the bin used to be before the new wheelie bins. And don't even get me started on recycling. There is a dangerous side though. You'll leave the grill on or the oven on. Always try and switch it off at the wall. Check the shower and the taps have been turned off. Where's the iron? How do you stop him leaving the door open when he goes out? The need to be one step ahead is constant, and you can't always be around. You learn to expect to look for the milk in the cupboard. Biscuits? Well, look in the fridge. Butter? Maybe it's under the sink? It's great to have a game of hunt the slippers and guess where the frying pan is today. Well, the more occupied he is, the less silliness occurs, so word searches and Sudokus help, as do jigsaw puzzles. But gone are the days when he could do large complicated ones. Smaller ones give greater satisfaction and help raise his sense of self-esteem. Whatever the disasters and the frustrations of the day, always try to go to bed with a smile. An old TV programme such as Tommy Cooper, just like Double Diamond, works wonders. Laughter is the best medicine, apparently. It works.
Just like that. It's so important that we work to create dementia-friendly communities, because what we want is for people living with dementia to be able to maintain their independence and to do the things that they enjoy doing and want to be able to continue to do.
The Alzheimer's Society's side-by-side scheme has enabled this dementia sufferer to continue to attend football matches, accompanied by a helper who picks him up, watches the match and takes him home again.
It's brilliant. Brilliant. When I first found that I got dementia, I thought I was going to die, but to be right, that's how I felt. And when I found out with him, he's brilliant. Mm-hmm. You know, he's great. We sort of seem just gel together, sort of thing.
Just volunteer and just do it. You'll get a lot out of it. I mean, this is hardly volunteering. It's going to watch a football match with your mate and having a laugh.
And as he jokes himself, you don't always remember the result of the match. Getting out and about for dementia sufferers is made easier, I think, if friends and neighbours can keep a watching eye, whilst at the same time, though, not doing everything for them.
My dad died of dementia last March, yeah.
so you know how important it is to sort of look after people and keep an eye out for them.
It is, yeah, and try and keep them as independent as you can possibly do, because the more you do for them, the less independence they seem to have.
Going further afield than the local shop, though, can create many problems. What all bus passengers can see are red and white, green and white, dark red and even black buses, many often on the same route, and that can be confusing for anyone. And then there's the constant alteration of routes and numbers. Recently, the 99, which goes to the Curie Hospital and is used by a lot of elderly people, became the 244. And a few years ago, Dad's bus home, the number 3, was renumbered and is now the 24. So Dad'll wait and let the 24 go by because he thinks he needs the 3. And the route's changed on his estate and no longer serves the road where he thinks the bus stop should be. Is it any wonder that people with dementia get confused? For their part, National Express West Midlands say all their drivers take disability awareness as part of their basic training, and they teach drivers to think about all forms of disability, especially what can't be physically seen. Similar awareness schemes are being promoted at Alzheimer's Society roadshows, which encourage greater discussion about creating dementia-friendly environments.
We want people to come away from the roadshow feeling that we are united against dementia, and that Alzheimer's Society, along with other organisations as well, are here to support you if you encounter the disease in some shape or form.
And thank you so much to Norma Bartlam and his father for sharing such a personal story with us. Stay tuned for your community news plus Norman's regular history slot in a couple of minutes' time. So then, time for the community notice board. This is the news that you send to us. And if there's something we could mention, do get in touch, but as always, give us plenty of notice. And we'll give you those all-important contact details in a few minutes' time. Now, pupils at Bournville School raised a brilliant amount of money for the Birmingham Children's Hospital through the Big Sleuth project. You probably remember we mentioned that last week. Now, pupils at the academy, which is run by Fairfax Multi-Academy Trust, took part in a competition to decorate their own bear cub sculpture for this year's theme, which is Bournville's identity. To celebrate Bournville's identity, pupils were invited to share memorable stories of growing up in Bournville, which will be patched on the bear cub using the winning designs. Yes, the winning designs, named Bournville Unwrapped, were created by Amy Downing, who's in Year 11, and Anna Arouge from Year 9, and the design will resemble an unwrapped chocolate bar. Pupils also took part in fundraising activities, including a non-uniform day, I remember those days well, a cake sale, all of which helped raise over £1,000 valuable funds required by the hospital, so well done to them. Now, Becky Baldaro Booth has been in touch to say hello. Hello. I organise an annual charity fun run in aid of Parkinson's UK at the University of Birmingham. This year's event will be on Saturday the 21st of October. Now, Becky tells us that over the past 3 years they've had some fantastic celebrity supporters, including Paula Radcliffe and Steve Cram, and to date they've raised over £50,000 for the charity. Brilliant stuff. Now, she reckons it's a great family-friendly event in the inspiring surroundings of the university, and for many alumni a chance to reunite with friends to raise money. So that fun run takes place on the 21st of October at the University of Birmingham, and you can find out more, take a look, at www.budsrun.co.uk. It's all one word, BUDSRUN. Or on social media, just look them up, Buds Run. Love that word. Now, cat lovers are being urged to contact the Walsall branch of the RSPCA, which is short of people available to foster cats and kittens which come into its care. They rely on people coming forward to offer their time and homes to foster cats, as they don't have an animal centre or cattery facilities. Now, if there aren't enough volunteers to foster, it can reduce the number of cats that can be helped. Now, foster carers need to be able to drive, they need to live in the WS4 area, and also have somewhere quiet in their home for a new foster animal to settle in. Now, if they've got pets of their own, they must actually have a separate room to quarantine a new foster cat in. Now, all veterinary, food and litter costs are covered by the RSPCA branch through an ordering service which is located in the Chasetown area, and travelling expenses to vet visits are also covered. So, if you'd like more information about that, you can contact Becky Weeks by emailing enquiries@rspca-walsall.co.uk. envision.org.uk, or you can call 0845 272 3570. Next, Envision. That's a youth charity that runs a social action programme in schools across Birmingham to boost young people's employability skills. They're hosting an opportunities fair for young people on their Year 12 programme, and they're looking for people who'd like to promote their organisation. They're inviting a variety of organisations to showcase different career paths and options for young people to consider after finishing college or university. It all takes place on Wednesday the 5th of July at the H Suite in Edgbaston. It's a free event, and they tell us that they're expecting around 300 young people from 15 Birmingham schools. So if you'd like to find out more about this event or what Envision do, they're a registered charity and their local office is at the Custard Factory. You can have a look at their website www.envision.org.uk, or you can give them a call on 0121 772 7685. Next, Sutton Coldfield West Scouts are holding a fun day and their AGM on Saturday the 17th of June. It's an afternoon of family fun in the park and a chance to learn what Scouting has achieved in Sutton Coldfield West over the past year. There's archery, shooting, axe throwing, inflatables, kids games, crafts, scouting, skills, races and much more. It's open to all members of the district, family and friends. So it's on the 17th of June and it all takes place in the field behind the 10th Sea Scout Group's HQ, which is at Boldmere Gate in Sutton Park. So to find out more, you can call Paul Little on 0789 694 8601, or you can email paul.little@birminghamscouts.org.uk. So there you go. That's what we found pinned to this week's community notice board. But if you know about something we could be telling people about, why don't you get in touch? Give us at least a week's notice and we might just put you on the telly. You can talk to us in a number of ways. You can email news@madeinbirmingham.tv, or on social media, look us up, send us a message. We are at Made in Beeham TV. Or just use the hashtag Birmingham News, as we always tell you. We'll look it up and we'll probably find you. And of course, we'll have more for you at the very same time next week. Now then, let's take a quirky but interesting trip back in time with everyone's favourite historian. It's our Norman Bartlam.
Wings for Victory Week was held in June 1943 to encourage people to help in the war effort. The adverts called for the citizens of Birmingham to live up to their motto of Forward and urged people to raise £12 million. That's enough money to build 1,000 planes. Joe Public could hand over cash by putting it into national savings certificates, defence bonds and national war bonds, and could be invested by the city's very own Birmingham Municipal Bank. Broad Street held an RAF in action display, which included a Lancaster bomber, a Hurricane that had been in the Battle of Britain, and a Spitfire, which was erected and dismantled each day by members of the Women's Auxiliary Air Force. Around 5,000 servicemen and women marched along Broad Street. The part played by local industries was recognised in the exhibition, which attracted thousands of curious spectators, all eager to have a go at a Messerschmitt, courtesy of the Luftwaffe, although they probably didn't give permission for it to be there.
Right, now it's time for a relaxed profile of another artist.
So we're Broken Hair. We make faux taxidermy. And anything really sculptural, to be honest. Yeah, anything you want, we can make it. The unicorn sells the most. I mean, I think we're on over 200 now at the moment, and they sell all over the world. There's one in Japan, there's one in Australia, there's one in Qatar, and there's a few in America. So yeah, that's the one that sells the most. And then second is the zebra, and then the stag, and then the fox. Yeah, and hopefully the giraffe soon. So it's an animal sculpture, sculpted in clay first, and then we take a mould of the clay and we cast it out in a really rigid plaster, and then add all the hairs, just flocking, and then airbrush the lines back on it and all the pattern back on it. And it's quite a process, and you can't make any mistakes. As soon as you made a mistake, you have to stop, wash it all off and start again, because you can't rub anything out on it, which is frustrating. It works with static, so you charge all the hairs up, and then you kind of shake them all over it like that, and they fly onto the glue. And then you, with compressed air, then you blow the hairs in the direction you want them to go in, because otherwise they're all just stuck out like that, and it doesn't look quite real. But yeah, at that point, you've got to be careful, because if you blow too hard, it'll blow it off the glue and you'll be left with bald patches everywhere. But yeah, it's a fun process, but at the same time it's quite frustrating, because as soon as you make a mistake, you can't sort of fill it in, and you have to stop and start again all the time. But just, yeah, you have to be careful. So we're brokenhair.co.uk, and where you'll find us is Broken Hair on Instagram, Broken Hair on Twitter, and Facebook as well, and you can contact through all of those sites. But also on Etsy, Broken Hair on Etsy. I think that's where we seem to sell most of our stuff, but yeah, our website's better. We do a lot for interior design, yeah, so sort of bar theming, and yeah, interior designers, so if they do sort of a big manor house or something like that, they usually take a few of our pieces. And we've had a few commissions, so it was a wolf's head we had to do a walrus for a bar in Manchester. So yeah, mostly interior design. I think that's our biggest client, I suppose. Yeah.
And we'll be profiling another artist at around the same time next week. Now, maybe you are an artist with a passion for the subjects you portray. Why don't you get in touch? You never know, we might be able to feature you or your work on the show. Or perhaps you know of an artist that we could cover. Either way, we'd love to take a look at your work, so why don't you get in touch? You can always email us news@madeinbirmingham.tv. Still to come after the break, we'll be looking ahead to see what could be making the headlines during the coming week. Des and Gary will be telling us what's on around our area, and we'll pick another letter from our A to Z of the West Midlands. All that, plus the weather too, when we come back. Welcome back to the Birmingham News Review. Now, a little earlier, I caught up with our news editor, Sam Davis. So, Sam, it's a big election week.
It is massive. I don't think I'm the first to say this, but probably the most exciting election year in a very long time. By Friday morning, we should know who the next government will be. We'll know who the next Prime Minister will be, and we'll know how quickly we're going to get started on the Brexit situation. So it's a big week, and we'll be looking at that fairly heavily in the next few days. It's gone by so quickly, actually. I think a lot of people have been saying. I mean, here we've been doing our election debates. Yes, we had live election debates last week. As you can see, we're not quite back to normal yet, but very exciting. I think they went well. I think people enjoyed being involved in the debate, and the reaction we've had from viewers was positive. And hopefully we've helped to get the information out there that will help people make an informed decision on Thursday when the polls open. It is good to do it on a local level, isn't it? Because obviously you see on the other channels all the national ones, but what you want to know is about what's going on in your local area. Yeah, so you know, it's very easy to watch Theresa May or Jeremy Corbyn on television. Not so easy to work out how what they're saying will directly affect you. I think sometimes bringing it down to a local level, to really local issues, is what people want. And that's the information that's going to make them able to feel confident about the vote that they cast. So looking ahead to this week, if you know, put the election to one side, what else are we looking at in the news? Right, well there's a few interesting things happening this week. So Walsall Council have got a consultation open about the town centre drinking ban that's being proposed. They've worked in other places, they've been unsuccessful in some places, so it'll be interesting to see how the public feel about that. Something I would imagine you'll see rolling out across other councils as well. So we'll be keeping a close eye on that as well.
Lovely. And if people have got a story that they're interested in, they can always get in touch with us, can't they?
Yep, email us at news@madeinbirmingham.tv. We'll always get back to you, and if there's a way we can cover it, then we will do.
Lovely, Sam. Thank you very much.
No problems.
Thanks, Sam. And now for another look ahead to the week. This time it's What's On with Des and Gary.
And here we are. Where are we? We are
Turtle
at
Bay.
the Turtle Bay Bar, which is on John Bright Street.
Yeah, brilliant. It's fantastic here, and the food is great. If you're into Caribbean food, especially jerk chicken, that sort of stuff, which I love, which is why I've eaten here numerous times. It's fantastic. And cocktails, you have the information on cocktails?
2 for 1 until 7 every day.
That's brilliant. It's great value, isn't it?
Yeah.
Great. It's a great place. Seriously, if you haven't been here, it's authentic, it's fantastic, and I love the speakers on the wall.
Brilliant.
Fantastic.
Brilliant.
Good.
Okay, let's get on.
Crack on then.
Wolverhampton Art Gallery until September the 3rd. Acclaimed artist Charlotte Hodes has got an exhibition called Remember Me. It includes an ambitious 12-metre long frieze and also a collection of intricate paper cuts, one of which we're looking at right now, and also 350 plates. Wow. Which demonstrate the artist's incisive and challenging approach to the aesthetic potential of domestic objects. Whatever that means.
Yeah. Good. Now, hat stand at the Kitchen Garden Cafe, which features music, poetry, storytelling and visual art, all for just £5. It's in King's Heath. It's free for performers. Just arrive before 7:30 to book your 5-minute spot. That's very important. It's an intimate space, since it's open mic but without a mic. And there's also a pop-up shop for artworks and merchandise.
Love it.
Right,
just around the corner from the Hare and Hounds.
Yeah, good, good venue.
Now on Tuesday, join experts from Loaf Cookery School at the wonderful Martineau Gardens for an evening of foraging and wild cooking.
Mrs. GJ will be there. She likes a bit of wild foraging.
They'll show you how to identify wild foods and prepare them while you stroll around the vegetable gardens looking for discarded weeds, find edible treats in the woodland and other seasonal surprises.
Very nice.
Are you a seasonal surprise there?
Oh, yeah.
Plus at the end you get to cook your finds in the outdoor kitchen, either in the earth oven or over the fire pit.
Fantastic, that sounds like good fun.
Yeah.
Okay, starting on Tuesday at the Hippodrome, the Addams Family. Remember that?
Yes.
The musical comedy. Don't look at me like that. Stars not him, but Les Dennis as Uncle Fester, although you could see the resemblance. Okay. It's the UK premiere from the writers of the multi-award winning hit musical The Jersey Boys, which is brilliant, and I still haven't seen it, so I've got to get to London to see it because it's not on in Birmingham anymore, and that will run until Saturday.
Fantastic. Me look like Uncle Cheek. Anyway, comedy shows on Thursday. Jongleurs, the byword for stand-up comedy. They're at the Core Theatre in Solihull, and also at the Mac, Edinburgh features Patrick Monaghan, Nick Doody, and they're going to be previewing their stuff that they're going to be doing at the Edinburgh Festival.
I suppose there'll be a lot of that coming on now, won't it, of Edinburgh. So have you ever been to Edinburgh Festival?
Yes, I have. I played there with Alvin Stardust.
Yeah.
It's
Wow.
fantastic.
I've never been.
And Stadium at the Birmingham Rep sees one crowd sharing one colour, one song and one wish. It's a pioneering world premiere of hundreds of Aston Villa, Birmingham City and West Bromwich Albion fans, all sharing their surprising, funny and heartbreaking stories of their time watching football and being football fans. And they both run until the 17th.
And then gig of the week, well, shameless self-promotion here.
Go on.
You've got to get down to the Blue Piano on Saturday the 10th of June.
Why? Why?
Because the wonderful Sissy Stone and her band are going to be playing there.
And they've got a bass player in that band, looks just like you.
Yeah.
Except younger.
Yeah. Well, absolutely.
Time now to pick another letter in our journey through the A to Z of the West Midlands. Here's Richard.
Today, we arbitrarily begin the series with the letter S for scratchings. Our region's cuisine carries with it many a delicacy we can be proud of. Faggots and gravy, grey peas and bacon, but the one which stands out like a fat man in a particularly colourful suit has to be the illustrious pork scratching. The perfect compadre to a warm pint of ruby, Pork scratchings have been a staple snack in the Black Country since the 1800s. And who better to ask about the origin of the pork scratching than Made in Birmingham's resident historian, Norman Bartlam.
Pork scratchings was the food of poor people. Many people kept pigs in their back gardens and fattened them up for slaughter, making sure that nothing went to waste. With food scarce, no part of the pig was left wasted, and so these small, greasy, fatty little snacks became really popular. Now, scratchings have always been popular in the Black Country and in Birmingham, and they're even more popular now because someone's discovered that 49% of each packet is protein, which is good for you. All you need to do is to forget the 47% of it that's fat. It's not surprising, really, that 20 million bags of scratchings are sold every year.
Norman there, just scratching the bristly surface of our favourite salty deep-fried snack. The pork scratchings industry in the West Midlands is thought to be worth more than £30 million per year, and this is growing with the recent resurgence of the snack's popularity, with Midland Snacks alone claiming to sell around 600 tonnes of them every year, with stars such as Cameron Diaz, Kate Moss, Nicole Scherzinger and universally loved national treasure Chris Evans all pledging their love for the pork scratching. It may no longer be almost solely a luxury of the working classes. As the American author Greg Gutfeld puts it in his Lessons from the Land of Pork Scratchings are delightfully grim, hardened strips of brown matter and pure cholesterol, but a snack you could not stop eating. However, health concerns about pork scratchings may actually be misplaced, with stars such as Beyonce claiming they are a staple in their strict diets. So that just about wraps up today's segment on deep-fried pigskin. Back over to you, Lee.
And if you'd like to suggest a letter and a subject for Richard to have a go at, then you could always get in touch. You can email news@madeinbirmingham.tv. And so that's all we've got time for on today's Birmingham News Review. I'll be back with you on Saturday and Sunday nights at 6 for the Weekend Magazine, and of course for another Birmingham News Review next Monday morning at 7. Remember, you can always keep up to date with more news for Birmingham and the West Midlands every weekday at 6 and 8 in the evening. So that's it for now. Stay tuned, the weather's up next, and then after the break, as promised, Carl Jones is back with another big engine debate. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you later. Bye bye for now.